Welcome, this is part 2 of a C# tutorial. We're making a password validator to take some programming concepts that we already know and apply them to the C# language. So here's the output of our password validator. Here's how it works. So basically there's some criteria you have to meet, and then it reprompts the user for a password until it meets all the criteria, detailing which things they're missing until they get it right. So today we're going to learn about a couple concepts, for each and iterables. We're going to learn about string interpolation and string contains, Boolean expressions and conditionals, which we used a little bit last time. We're going to talk about them more this time. All right, let's dive into the code here. You can get the code from the description. You can also watch the previous video. Link is in the description of this video. So let's add another line in our main function, another criteria. So we're going to print out, you need to have at least one of these symbols, and then put a semicolon at the end. I could type out the symbols here, but like before, we're going to need to reuse that information. So we're going to make a constant up here, and then we'll just make a string of symbols. I'm just going to do shift and then go across the numbers on the top. You can put in whatever symbols you want. And then down here, we could use our string concatenation from before by using the plus operator to combine these strings. But we're going to use something called string interpolation, which is like injecting variables into strings. So you put a $sign in front of your string, and then you put curly braces wherever you need to inject a variable. So we're going to put in our symbols constant right there. And if we hit run, then we'll see that it prints out both of our things. So we got both of our criteria there. Okay, now let's actually check for it. So we don't need to modify our main function anymore because all of our validation is happening in the good password function. So we're just going to add some more information to our good password function. So let's add a Boolean if it has a symbol and initialize it to be false. And there's some fancy ways that we could check our password string if it contains a symbol from this array of symbols in like 1 or 2 lines. There's some fancy ways to do it, but we're going to do it the simple way to understand for new programmers, which is by using a loop. And you know, these simple concepts translate across any language. There's idiomatic things to, languages, but let's just use a loop. So we're going to use what's called a for each loop. You may be familiar with this if you've done Python. You've got like for I in range 10, or in JavaScript you have array.forEach if you're iterating through something. So this, it takes an iterable. So in our case, we're going to iterate over this symbols string, and we're going to look at each part of that string. So a part of a string, a single part, is a character. Because in C# and in many languages, a string is actually just a character array. So when I'm talking about iterables, I'm talking about arrays and collections. In C# they're called collections. You can import collections up here by doing using system.collections, and then you have access to lists and other things like that, sets. But for right now, we're just going to iterate over our string collection using this for each loop. You could use a while loop, a for loop. They'll get the job done too. This is just a nice way to reference each part of a collection in a loop. So in our loop, we're going to check if our password, here's another string method, contains a symbol. So we're going to go through all the symbols and check if our password contains one of them. And if it does, we'll change has symbol to be true and break our loop, because once we have one symbol, we've satisfied the requirements that we defined. We're also going to, like before, if we do not have a symbol by the end of all that, we're going to tell the user about it and say needs at least one symbol, and then we'll use our string interpolation thing again just to tell the user what symbols they could put in. Okay, let's run our code, test it out, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So we have the two criteria, and I typed in all of my stuff, and it says needs at least one symbol, but then it also says good password. Got a bug in the code. All right, let's check where our bug could be. Maybe I just typed in a symbol by accident in the background. Let's try running it again. Nope. Oh, okay. Our function is still just returning has length. We need to take this has symbol thing into account. So let's combine has length and has symbol with and, logical and, so that these things both have to be true in order for a password to be validated. So this is called a Boolean expression, when you have multiple Boolean values and you operate on them with logical and, or you have greater than, less than, equals, greater than, equal, etc. You can have many of these things smashed together and it will output true or false. That's called a Boolean expression. And another thing to point out here is that our if statements, you can have multiple line if statements by using brackets to say, okay, this is the scope of the if statement. Or if it's just a one-liner, you can omit the brackets and just put everything on one line. So that's the two kind of ways to look at if statements there. Multi-line, use brackets. Some style guides will have you use brackets no matter what. Get into that later. And I think that's going to be it. Let's go ahead and run our program, try it out. Okay, so I met the letters requirement, and then I met the letters and symbols, and it says we're good to go. Let's try just typing in symbols at the beginning. Okay, it tells me not long enough. And then it'll say good password otherwise. Okay, so we went over for each and iterables. As long as you can iterate over it, you can do for each. And then we have string interpolation, string.contains. There's plenty of string methods out there. You can go look them up. And then Boolean expressions and conditionals. All right, that's it for this lesson. There's one more to come. See you later.